Hey guys, Griselle here, and even though I am technically recording this before Camp NaNoWriMo ends, I wanted to sit down and kind of like think through some of the stuff that I've been working on and some of my, I guess, failures, for lack of a better word. Although I wouldn't really call them failures, but kind of more like lessons learned. So it is now about, what is today? Today is the 24th, so we're about 6 days before Camp NaNoWriMo is set to end. I have not yet validated, but I am already about 2,000 words under my goal, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be met. I don't think I'm going to have a problem meeting my goal. It was a smart goal. It was a actionable goal. It was a goal that I could manage because I have a tendency to overthink things and overcommit. So this time I told myself that I would stick to a goal that would not basically drive me up the wall. So I did decide to go with a small actionable goal as opposed to a lofty 50,000 word goal, because while I am all about the motivation of Camp NaNoWriMo, I do like to be able to achieve the things I start. And for this month, I felt that a 30,000 word goal was something that I could manage, that I could work through, because I have a full-time job, because it's end of term, because there's all kinds of stuff going on and it's difficult for me to find the time to sit down and write while also juggling all the realities of being a person who works full-time and has a 2-hour commute and has a million other things to do when getting home. So I wanted to have something that I could stick to, that could establish a strong new habit, especially because this is the first full draft that I have written in a while. I've mostly been editing drafts, and I've been sitting on a couple of drafts that need editing, but as far as starting a new project from beginning to end, this is the first one I've done in a couple of years. And so I wanted to give myself some time to get back into the swing of things, to kind of relearn and find my new voice, because this is a project that I had already started and stopped and kind of dropped. So I wanted to give myself the ability to actually feel like I achieved something and to have a plan that I could actually work with without becoming overwhelmed. So 30,000 words, manageable goal for me. About 1,000 words a day for a 30-day month works for me. So I am totally on target and a little bit early. But one of the things that I learned, and I think I touched on this briefly when I was making my video about the 4 tendencies, which I'll link above and below for you to see. I am an upholder, so I am very much internally motivated, and there are things in my writing practice especially that are definite signs of my upholder tendency. And one of these is that despite the fact that I told myself that I would have a 30,000 word goal, that this was a manageable goal, halfway through I was on a roll. So what did I do? I started expecting more of myself, because that's what you do when you're the kind of person who's like, I can do more, surely we can, and let's go and do it. And that was not great for my mental health. I ended up hitting a wall about midway through when I was, as I said, on a roll. I was pushing to about twice as many words as I had originally intended, which is great. And if I'm on a roll, I'm all for just, like sticking it out until I run out of steam. But because I was on a roll, I was holding myself up to that standard, as opposed to considering this like the extra icing on the cake. This was just kind of like the new standard, and I was trying to achieve this every day, which led to a little bit of burnout halfway through the project, or at least halfway through the month. The project is about halfway now, but like in the middle of the month, I suddenly hit a wall, and I kind of panicked, and I didn't think that this would happen, but it did. I started to doubt myself. I started to think that I had not outlined enough, that I didn't have enough of a story, that the plot was too short. I basically worked myself into a little whirlwind of doubt and started to have all kinds of just negative feelings towards myself, the project, everything I was doing, and I had to stop. So I told myself that the only way for me to figure this out was to just stop and reassess what I was doing. So I did. I luckily was able to take a few days off and sort of like find the inner peace that I needed to think things through, and I realized that I had kind of written myself into a hole. The story had taken a slight turn at the wrong corner, And so I was able to backtrack, rewrite a chapter, even though this is not a thing that is normally encouraged with NaNoWriMo. There's this idea of like, just write, keep writing, keep the momentum going, words, words, words. But I want to be a serious writer, and I write with the intention to one day publish. And having gone through extremely messy drafts, I don't want my drafts to be that messy anymore. So I would rather sacrifice momentum and sacrifice the goal and get something slightly cleaner on the first run, rather than keep writing just because I need to hit a word count as opposed to writing towards a plot that I feel good about. So I backtracked, did that, and I was able to work myself out of it. So that was a good lesson learned, that I have come to value the process more than just the word count, which is great. I think that for me, that's something that I have found helpful, especially with regards to finding my voice and feeling like the story matters more than the numbers on the page. So that's been a positive change and a good thing to realize about myself, that I can work through my upholder tendency, or upholder tightening if you really think about it, and kind of come to terms with the fact that the goal is not always the most important thing. So still gonna achieve my goal, but I had to realize that I was pushing myself harder than I initially intended, and that sometimes you just need to kind of backtrack and find your way back to the right place. So another thing that I have learned and found extremely helpful has been my HB90 planner, which if you didn't see in my last video, I kind of briefly touched on this. This was designed by Sarah Cannon, and she has videos on it on her Heart Breathings channel. And I have taken the planner. I initially bought the planner with the intention of using it as a writing scheduler. I have found it so helpful as a writing journal. I found, myself looking at the first page the very first day that I was writing, because that's how I intended to use it to start this quarter. And while she has her own method of using it, I have slightly departed from that, and I am using it as a writing journal. I have started using it to mark my sprints, to note down how I felt while writing, so I kind of have a sense of when my best writing times are. I've also started using it to note down sort of like that free writing that I do before writing, the little cookie crumbs that I leave for myself at the end of a scene, or the brainstorming I need to do in advance. So it's been a very helpful tool with just kind of thinking my way through the scenes, and it was extremely helpful in finding what went wrong when I had to sort of like backtrack and get back onto the right plot line. So this has been such a helpful tool, and it's getting heavy because I did not print out all the individual pages on the very first round. So it's gonna be pretty heavy by the end of the third month, and I feel like I might need another binder. But I'm totally loving it, and I take it with me every day and just kind of make the best of it. I also, I did post about this on Twitter. I invested in a very tiny $150 Asus laptop. It is excellent. Kitty cat. I had been debating getting myself a Mac for a while because of Scrivener and wanting to have a more full-featured version of Scrivener, and I didn't really want to use my work laptop to do the writing on my break time. I wanted to have something for myself for reasons that I won't go into, but I wasn't finding what I wanted. So I did a little bit of digging, found this one laptop for $150 on Amazon. It's super tiny, which is exactly what I wanted. It's so lightweight. I think it weighs less than 2 pounds. I think it was like 1.8 pounds or something like that. It has this crazy long battery life, so I barely ever have to even charge it. I think I charge it like once every 4 or 5 days, and that's, like I usually still have some juice to spare at that point too. And it's just been such a great tool because I have been able to manage writing during periods when I normally would not be able to because I didn't have a device near me. And it's lighter than the Chromebook that I normally use, and it also allows me to just kind of like pull it up anywhere because it's a solid state drive, so it loads really quickly, and it's just been the best $150 investment that I have made towards my writing. So that has been an awesome purchase and a great thing to have, because it's also allowed me to write in moments when I'm not normally near a laptop, or I would have to remember to bring it. So it's just kind of become a habit that I take this thing along with my tiny little laptop and make writing happen everywhere at any time. Okay, it's been a few minutes and there is still a truck outside my window. So I think I'm gonna wrap this up now because I hear my neighbors stomping and the truck's outside and no sense is going to be made after this. Maybe? Nope. Yep, truck's still definitely there. So I'm gonna end this a little short, but suffice it to say, NaNoWriMo has been a good thing. I am back into the story. I found a new voice. I'm trying out a new point of view that I haven't really thrived in before, and I'm enjoying it. So I'll talk to you guys later and fill you in on progress next month. Bye. Come here. You have a kitty cat? Nope. He can't be in this video. Go on. Okay.